Well, Jacket fans, it wasn't how we planned to start the season, but Rockwall falls to Rowlett in the Battle of the Lake Ray Hubbard Series, 34-32 at the Cotton Bowl on Saturday afternoon. Hey everybody, Chris Curtis here for the Rockwall Sportscenter Yellow Jacket update, joined by my partner in crime, Billy Quinton. Got to mention crime right there for sure, but we'll keep down the DL. But another tough loss for Rockwall. Really did not look good in the first half, but they did their infamous second half comeback tour, and they rallied, and Sam Crawford helped lead the way, and Rockwall took the lead there in the fourth quarter, but unfortunately they were unable to hang on to win this game. They are now 0-2 to start the season, and I'm going to go the old infamous Billy Quinn thing. Take the hand off the panic button. Right. My coach from last year. So I know a lot of Rockwall fans might be panicking right now, but let's just kind of ease up a little bit.
Well, I hope they're not, because we pretty much have this every year. Other than the 2014 season when Rockwall went undefeated all through the season and advanced into the regional round. It's been a slow start, and I don't think it's just coincidence. I know that Coach Webb looks at these non-district games as a way to look at all the players and see if some things are working and some aren't. So that's what's going on here. Yes, you want to win the games, of course, but and it looked like Rockwall had a chance to win that one. They rallied from 19 down, which was an impressive comeback. It didn't look. They looked like they were dead in the water when that third quarter came around, and they were down 19, and then you mentioned Sam Crawford, and the Matt Jones-Sam Crawford connection is in high gear now, as Sam was over 200 yards receiving, made some outstanding catches, a couple of them when he was covered, and then not only making the catch but separating once he makes the catch to score. But the offense is moving the ball. Again, second game in a row that they lose but have more yards than the opponent. But, defensively, they have moments. The second half, they were doing very well on defense. They stopped Rowlett. But that last drive, once they took the lead, they needed one more stop, and Rowlett, give them credit. They went down the field and got that field goal to give them the 2-point lead, and that's how Rowlett gets to win. Congratulations to Rowlett. It was a well-played game, and in this rivalry, that's the first time that Rowlett has won since, I believe, 2011. So Rockwall's 4-game winning streak comes to an end.
And of course, these games, as you mentioned, they're almost like NFL perspective. It's almost these preseason games you have to kind of get through. And Coach Webb, we've mentioned this before over and over again. He loves to play these hard teams, these good teams that will really showcase what they have against them. And Rockwall will just kind of learn from this, because in 2 weeks here you're going to start battling 11-6A, which is not going to be a walk in the park. So you kind of get to use these games now, and like you mentioned, play players in spots they're maybe not be used to, but in 4 or 5 weeks from now, they're going to be called on to rise above this. So these kind of games right now are not something that we have to just panic about as far as the Rockwall Yellowjackets go, but it's more of a learning curve, and Coach Webb gets to see what his team can do.
Well, remember last year when the season started, we thought that Tama Juana would be the starting running back and Caleb Broach would be on defense more, and as they went through non-district, it ended up being reversed. And Tamba was one of the more outstanding defensive backs in the district, if not, the area. And then Caleb Broach had one of the best seasons a running back could have, and we watched him play on Saturday for Prairie View A&M. So it's just one of the things. That's what non-district's for, is to look at these players, to kind of move some guys around. The defense has a lot of new kids coming in, especially in the secondary, so they've got to learn, and it's going to be fine. It's just one of those deals. It's hard as a fan to see the losses come in and go 0-2, but remember last year we were 0-3, and we ended up reeling off a few wins and going to the regional quarter. So
it
didn't work out too bad. So it's fine. Everything's good. You want to win it. You have the game in hand. And of course, you play these good teams because it does expose the things that you need to work on. If you go and play teams that you should beat, I don't think you see some of these things that you need to see in non-district to make the team better. And as Coach Webb always says, it's not as much as for the wins as are we getting better. And that's what he's looking at. This is a team, most of Webb's teams peak at the right time, near the end of the season, before the playoffs start. So we got a long way to go. It'll be fine.
Well, speaking of Coach Webb, let's see how his team handled his 34-32 loss to Rowlett on Saturday.
Well, in the Department of Special Teams, it was really what didn't go wrong. We had a fairly catastrophic failure in every phase of our special teams game, and I wish I had a really good explanation for it. I really don't. But, it's a unit that we put a lot of emphasis into, and we're going to continue to emphasize. And, we got a lot of new faces out there this year, and we just got some guys that I think they just need a little bit more experience doing what they're doing, and I think you'll see this week markedly improved effort in special teams.
And of course, Billy, it is a short week here for the Rockwall Yellowjackets, as Friday they will have their home opener against none other than the old infamous Southlake Carroll Dragons. And of course, Not going to be an easy game for Rockwall to start the season. That's going to be their third tough game of the year. What do you look for in Southlake Carroll? They came off with a win last week against Arlington Martin, so they are 1-1. So they're not going to be super desperate to win a ball game like we thought they might be coming in here. So what does Rockwall have to do to get that first win of the season?
Well, it's a potent offense they have. Now, they played Tulsa Union to start the season, and Tulsa did a pretty good job at keeping that offense at bay, getting the win and only allowing Southlake. I believe they only scored 10 points in that one, but you mentioned Arlington Martin, and it got untracked. Holmes is their quarterback, very good quarterback. Gaines is the running back, and well over 100 yards last week, and they have a great receiving corps. So the offense is going to be very, very good. They got big boys on the offensive and defensive line. We don't have the size they do, so you're going to have to look at more fundamentals and technique, I think, and game plan as far as what Rockwall's going to need to do to get past the bigger players. But again, these are very good teams. Rockwall, yeah, coming in 0-2, but it would not be a surprise for Rockwall to beat Southlake in this ball game, and I don't think many people would be surprised by that, even though Southlake's one of the better teams. A lot of it with Rockwall opening up the season. Finally, we're at home. It feels like we hadn't been there since 2012. I don't know. It's been a while, and so it's great to be back at Wilkerson Sanders and have some home cooking and see what these guys can do, because I think the Yellowjackets are primed and ready to go, and they need to go out there and have a good effort to get ready for district in a couple weeks.
Of course, the crowd's going to be electric this Friday. We obviously have, you mentioned the first home game. You have Southlake Carroll in the house, honoring all of our EMS, our fire, our police. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere to be a part of, and of course, it's going to be very, very loud and very, very orange, hopefully, this Friday. So I know Coach Webb's excited about this atmosphere, and I know the kids are jacked up as well. I've talked to a few of them. They're really excited about opening here at home, and as you mentioned, it feels like it's been an eternity since we played at home.
It is. It does seem like a long time, but there's some great things to look for all y'all that have not had a chance to see the Yellowjackets yet. A lot of new faces that are doing things. I wanted to mention, from that game last week, Sam had a great game, but the only other person to get a reception was Reed Rako. Reed Rako comes in with that H-back spot, and he did a great job. And then I also want to mention one more kid that came in and that we didn't expect to make a huge difference was Landon Poppin, who's the sophomore kicker. He came in and got a couple extra points and converted, or actually kicked a nice onside kick. We didn't get to it, but it was placed perfectly. He did it the week before. So I just want to mention a couple kids that came in and made a difference for the Yellowjackets. Look for those guys and a bunch of others that are relatively new to the starting lineup that are making a difference. And this is the fun part of it, and this is what non-district's about. And then you really buckle up those chin straps and get ready for district in a couple weeks.
Coach Webb loves that youth coming through the pipeline, coming from Utley. They are looking really, really good there at Utley. But, of course, Coach Webb has to face Southlake Carroll this week. Let's see what he says about the Dragons coming to town.
So, they're one of those teams you got to show up and take it from them, because they're very sound and they're very experienced. So we're looking forward to the opportunity, though. I think it's a very worthwhile opponent, and they're certainly going to make us better.
All right, Billy, well, it's this Friday night, 7:30, Wilkerson Sanders Memorial Stadium here in Rockwall. It's Rockwall versus Southlake Carroll. Any final thoughts on this game as far as the last non-district game goes?
Well, as we mentioned, it'll be pretty good. It's basically the last opportunity that a ball game does not count in the standings, but you really want to do well against one of the best teams in the state. It's going to be electric with the first home game. Southlake travels, so they're going to be filling up the visitor side, and of course the first responders night. That's a huge deal and a neat way to honor those people that sacrifice everything for us, and that they will be getting into the ball game for free if they wear their uniform. And want to thank Rest Haven Funeral Home for sponsoring that night. So it's going to be a really, really fun night, and I can't wait. Ready to roll.
Let's do it here in 3 days. It's Tuesday already. We had missed out on Monday because of Labor Day.
Right.
But, of course, here we go. Friday night, 7:30. You can catch Billy and his crew starting early at 7 o'clock, their pregame show at www.rockwallisd.com. If you come to the game, the pregame ceremony for our 9/11 responders will begin at 7:15. That'll be awesome atmosphere. I can promise you that. So any final thoughts? One more time. Southlake Carroll vs. Rockwall, final home game of the year. Our final non-district game of the year.
So those that get in free, it's like firemen, policemen,
Yep.
EMS, and graphic designers. Those are the emergents, the people that make the world much safer.
That's in your
place.
contract, and I'll have to look at that. I don't
have to
know.
look into
We'll
it. All right, I
have to
just
redo that
assumed-
contract over the summer, so
Okay, I just
all your
assumed that.
benefits.
But no, it's gonna be fun. It's a great program to. Anytime you have a Southlake or an Allen or somebody like that come into town, it's fun. And so I can't wait. I'm ready to roll, and I can't believe that we're already at the end of non-district schedule and starting to look towards district. And we got to head to East Texas in a couple weeks.
Get that jet ready, and one more week away. It's 11-6A.
There you go.
All right, we'll see you Friday night, and don't forget, jacket fight never dies. See you around, everybody.